Welcome. Thanks for stopping by. I'm Digital Micro. You're on the Digital Micro Trading Journal channel. Day trading for an ROI payout, but no trade recommendations because it's just my trade journal. And we've got price action, order flow levels Friday, 6/23/23, and there is a little bit of 8:30 news catalyst. So let's get to the charts. Let's look at the last 5 days. Here we are in Friday, Globex. And we had a short week because of the holiday. And last Friday was on the equity indexes a long-term pivot high for the year. And this is the far left here on the NASDAQ. In the middle, we have the S&P 500. And then I've got the dollar. So when I turn on all the annotations, just look at the arrows here. What have we done? Looking at the chart in the middle, we've just gone down. We've got a fair value gap above, got a volume imbalance, and here we are with this candle. The last 3 days so far have been in a more or less balanced consolidation range. But below us, what do we have? We've got a volume imbalance that we've discussed prior video, a daily fair value gap that I've denoted here. So where are we? What's closer? The lower ones or the upper ones? I would say and submit on a Friday, number one, I'm not thinking to trade, because what happens next week is we close the week, we close the month, the quarter, and the midpoint of the year. So there's going to be a lot of jockeying around. However, if I was to trade for Friday, I'd be looking to see at the levels I'm going to point out in the higher time frames, specifically if we got above any of the highs of how we ended yesterday, prior day Thursday, above 44.15.25. As far as the dollar on the right, what I'm very concerned on that is how are equity indexes going to go up if the dollar's elevated? And this yellow line right here comes from a previous volume imbalance right here, and we haven't had the body of a candle cover it. So if we go above this, what's above it for the dollar? I would say the middle of this wick right here, and this wick comes in Thursday, and the middle of it, just eyeballing it, let's call it 103.20. So higher dollar basically trumps the ability for the equity index to go higher. It would be more predicated that we go lower based on this dollar. So that's it for the dailies. Let's get to smaller time frames for the S&Ps next. I'm going to drop down to a 15-minute. That's the smaller time frame, but it is a benchmark, and we're going back to the RTH session of previous day and where we're currently at. Let me turn on the annotations. So basically, we've completed the London session raid, and I've got a yellow rectangle here that's denoting a fair value gap here. And right now, what I'm looking at is possibly this is an inversion fair value gap. I'm going to note this level because this level is right under the London. So this key black line right here comes in about 44.06. This is a very big level. So it's not just the top of the fair value gap, but it's the London Open. It's the previous afternoon PM RTH low. So again, if prices are going to be coming in and we're going to gap lower, what's below it? We already talked about the imbalance here. So this imbalance is coming in right down here, 43.89. by 43.88, and what's below that is an additional fair value gap, an ordinary one. So that's what I'm looking at right now. That kind of summarizes the ranges here. So again, London range is contained within these two black lines, and these black line above is the close of previous RTH, 44.24, okay? And then the low of the PM range was 44.06. So right now prices really plummeted from the Asia session, and then when we started the New York midnight open just for reference, that comes in at 44.06, once again, right near London. So this is really, in my mind, going to stay quite maybe consolidated. It's got 30 handles of range, but most of that was this decline. And I kept thinking to myself, what is price doing up here? I want to be short, but it was tough because they kept it elevated for so long into the Asia Globex, and then it just dumped. And here we are after the London session raid, we're just balancing out. And again, I'm looking at this fair value gap. So that does it for the time-based chart. No positions. I'm going to wait for the 8:30 news catalyst and then the 9:30 open. Let's go to the Renko next and close. This is the Renko, and what I like about it is the simplicity of a non-time-based chart. I'll put my own times on the vertical lines, and this is basically, this vertical line is denoting how we transition into Friday, and you can see we just totally, price has a complete dump and negative 765 on the order flow. Delta, we bounce back up to the middle red line, Keltner, and that comes in right now at 44.11. Upper Keltner, 44.34. That seems like miles away. And the lower blue, which I hope they don't tempt me to take a long, it would be 43.89.25. We're not that far away, but you can see the balance of Friday's price action is all red. On the Renko bars, the Hama's red, and we're below the mid. So pretty easy to judge this, but nothing's enticing me to trigger this. Why? Because there's no blue Keltner being touched on this one. It's just one point of confluence, and right now the signal is take no trade. But I'm going to watch the order flow levels, especially these deltas, because I want to see how aggressive the selling gets in the RTH first hour. Thanks again for watching. Really appreciate the loyalty of the subscribers out there. And if you haven't subscribed yet, really appreciate if you consider doing so to help the channel. Thanks so much. Aloha. Take care. Bye.